Hey folks, this is Monday, January 27th, 2020. The Senate is right now in a 15-minute recess that just started about 3-4 minutes ago. I'm not going to keep you any longer than that. I'm listening while I'm trying to get things done. As you can see, the door behind me is no longer brown. Let me see who this is. No, I'm not answering that. I have not heard a word from Larry since last Tuesday. And this is the first time since we started working together that it's gone a whole week with no word from him. Now, Ellie went by his house on Friday and talked to his wife. And then she also drove by on Sunday, yesterday. And there were no additional cars in the driveway. And there were lights on in the house, a light on in the front bedroom. So, we don't know where, I don't know where Larry is. Ellie came down with a cold or something yesterday, and so she couldn't stop. Maybe it's allergy trouble, she wasn't sure. But she's not able to go by today because of some things she's got going right now. So I don't know what to say. And with the Senate trial going on right now, I'm very concerned. Larry wanted us to be making phone calls. I know I have an idea of what he was going to have us say, but I don't think we can use his name without his permission. But Susan Collins has given some indication of vacillating on how she intends to vote. I don't know if you listened to what was just said. The speaker who just spoke just showed how totally illegal this thing is. Ken Starr pointed out that the House is under no legal obligation to tell the truth. They don't have to take an oath of any sort like the Senate does for the trial. So the House can do whatever they want, is what he indicated, which of course is what we saw them do. They're trying to, Larry has told us they want to prove that our Constitution doesn't work. No, that is not true. That will never be true. It's not the problem. The Constitution is not the problem. The problem is our congressmen who don't work under the Constitution, especially with the Democrats in the House. So I would highly recommend you use the script that we've got from Mitch McConnell, which is right down here under the description box. You can also use, let's see, no, I'm not going to have you double up on what we wrote about for Ted Cruz. So I would say call Susan Collins' office, call Mike Lee's office. Now we know that Mitt Romney and I'm pretty sure Lisa Murkowski and Mitt Romney were just reelected in 2018. So Larry does have the flu, and I understand it's quite virulent in Conway, Arkansas. His wife said that she had it for several days. Now, I didn't know until last Monday that she had a bad case of it. I didn't know she'd been sick over the weekend, but she said she had it for several days. Now, whether she started Monday and finished up midweek, or whether it started last weekend, and but I know she was very sick, very sick. She was very sick last Monday, and Larry has picked it up. And he got it. I mean, that's the last I talked to him was Tuesday. He had it, and they were going to try something experimental to try and get the virus out of his system. And so that's the last I heard. And he did get the money for the experimental treatment that he was going to get. Oh, hi, thanks. Hi, Ellie. Thanks for being here. So he did get that money Tuesday. Now, whether he used it all, I don't know. But I was able to send him some more money that came to me, and he's gotten all of that. So whether he has, I am sure at this point, unless some money has come in that I know nothing about, I would certainly imagine that by now he's run out of funds for whatever he needs to have done. I would think that some of the treatment he got, the specialized treatment he got last summer, would probably be a good idea to do again. And I know how much it helped, which has kept him going. And anyhow, there are some things that they really do need to treat and address with him that need to be done, but we don't have the funds for it. So if you know anybody who can make another big donation to Larry, oh shoot, I forgot to put up his PayPal account. It's scrolling now across the screen. Larry's PayPal account is nicholslive@aol.com. nicholslive@aol.com. His last name only, nicholslive@aol.com. Frank, I don't know the answer to your question, and I don't know why I suspect why Mitch didn't just dismiss it. He could have, but he's one of the rhinos who's an anti-Trumper, and he has not done very much to support our president. So, Ellie, if you would like to come in and join me, I'm going to send you the link right now. I don't want to stay on very long because I really would like to get back to watching the Senate hearings, and they're going to start back up in about 10 minutes, but we could talk for 5 minutes. So if you are interested, I'm sending you the link right now. Just give me a sec, folks, so I don't have my glasses on, so it's going to take me a few seconds to get this typed in. Let me verify that I typed the right thing in. Correction made. Okay. So, Ellie, if you want to join me, I just sent you the link. No, Larry can't go to another country for treatment. He's getting what he needs right there in Conway, and it's certainly adequate. So I sent you the link. Ellie, can you click on the link that I just sent you, and I'll see you come up. Oh, I need to put on the double screen in order for that to happen. Okay, so we've got the double screen ready. If you still need me to call instead and go old school, do I have? Yeah, I've got the microphone here if we need to go old school. Sorry, folks, about the coat and hat, but I can't put the fire in the fireplace today because I can't be creating any dust in here today. So I am not doing a lot of work in the family room today. I don't want to be stirring up dust even from walking across the floor. So need to keep this end of the house dust free. So sorry about the bottle of vinegar in the front of the window. I didn't realize that was in the screen. Yeah, I was washing the doors before I started painting them. My brown doors are in the process of turning white. So okay, we're gonna go old school with her, and I will bring her on right now. So why can't Mitch McConnell could have called immediately for a vote for dismissal, and he chose not to, and that's part of his being a rhino, Republican in name only, really working with the anti-Trumpers. So we've got problems with our Republican Party because so many of them are doing things, and I mean I can't imagine the graft that he's been involved in with his wife being a daughter of a Chinese general, is my understanding. I can't verify that. I haven't verified that, but that's the rumor I hear, and I will say it's a rumor. So Yeah, I used to live in California, Frank. I love that warm weather. I miss it. Southern California's weather is, at least it used to be, the best. And I am dialing Ellie right now. Excuse me as I look down to look at my cell phone to get her number. And so, so we need to put pressure on. We probably need to call Rand Paul. Probably need to call.
Hello.
Hey there. I've got you on speaker. I'm suggesting that we call Susan Collins, call Mike Lee, call Lamar Alexander, even though he is leaving. Ask him to please do the right thing before he goes, because he will be remembered for this vote. And Rand Paul, Susan Collins, Mike Lee, Lamar Alexander. I don't know if it makes any sense to call Lisa Murkowski and Mitt Romney, because they just got voted in. They've got 5 more years, and they're not going to listen to the voters because they're not up for reelection. Lindsey Graham's up for reelection, and my list of who's up for reelection is in the other room. I haven't brought it back over here. So I'm kind of, this room is cold. We've had the doors open for a while to dry out things. And, thanks for mentioning the primaries, Chris, because it really is important to vote in the primaries. And if you have a Republican incumbent running, South Carolina, Kentucky, Texas, with Cornyn, vote for the other Republican. We need to get somebody new in, and then help the new person. If the new person wins, help their campaign so that they can beat the Democrat, because they are trying to flip 23 seats in the Senate, because we've got 23 Republicans running. The other 10, there's only 10 Democrats running, and we need to help. If you're in a state where a Democrat is running, do your best to get on the campaign committee of the Republican and help. I don't care how old you are, you can help. If you're over 90, then just sit there and spend your day praying. But if you have any measure of health left in your body, help with the elections. This is the most important one. And I've been rolling my eyes for decades every time. This is the most important one. This is the most important one. Well, this one definitely is. So I'm going to back up what Zachary is saying. And the bumper sticker, Never Socialism, especially now that Bernie seems to be rising in the polls. And with this, what's happening in Congress right now, the Iowa caucus is February 3rd, I think it is. I mean, we're a week away from the primaries starting. So it's important. And these guys haven't been out campaigning, because remember what Larry has told us. Everybody is riding on or against Trump's shirt tails. So they expect to win. If you vote against Trump, they expect to win as a vote against Trump. And if you are for Trump, then the people who are riding his coattails expect to get in riding his coattails. And if you want to hear about all the things that Larry did to lead up to the impeachment of Bill Clinton, and everything our team did to help President Trump win in 2016, order this book. And you can get it. Excuse me, I inhaled the wrong way. You can get the book from nicholslive.com, and there's a link to the donate page. And if you cannot, just one sec, Larry's mailing address is there for mailing cash. If you cannot donate through PayPal or through cash, my phone number, I'm posting it in here. It is also in the description box, the 240 number. Send me a text message and I will help you figure out a way to donate. Tonight we have a conference call at 9 Eastern, And I just posted that number too. So the 240 number is my cell number. So text me, text, don't call, text, and I'll help you figure out a way to donate. So yes, Ellie, take it away.
Oh, okay, thank you. I've got a really bad cold, so I'm kind of hoarse. I got a sore throat, and I didn't go live because I'm in my jammies, and it's a down day for me. I want to mention, Mary Ellen, what I have been running on my show is it's not the man, it's the plan. Now, let me explain this. We have been winning over a few Democrats and family and friends by saying, they don't ask them if they want the socialism, and most will say no. You ask them if they want high taxes, high property taxes. Do they want to lose money out of their paychecks? They say no. And then you say, well, what you're looking at is socialism. And they say, well, I hate Trump. I say, okay, well, hate Trump. But you have to go with, if he doesn't make let's say he makes it in 2024, then he's going to build up a better Republican plan. And if 2024 comes around, we go into a next president, it's going to be a plan, not the man. He's going to be gone. And so I tell my Democrat friends and liberal friends, you have to look at this point, whether you want socialism and you want the control that China has on us, that's what you're going to vote for. But support the plan that works the best, because it's our country, it's our freedom, and at this point, it's not who the president is, it's the plan that's running to make our lives better. And at this point, the Republican plan is way better. The Democrats have no plan except for high taxes. And if you explain this to your friends, it's been working for us.
And wait,
we have converted 10 people now in our family and friend group just within 2 weeks with this idea.
And let me interrupt just a sec. That's fabulous, Ellie. Remember, Larry has told us that all these freebies they're offering is the lies that a socialist will tell to get into power. And all the Democrats know that even if the House passes reparations, free college, debt repayment, free health care for everybody, including every illegal. First of all, if the House votes for it, the Senate votes for it, even if the president voted for it, which we know Trump will not. But even if they all did, it then goes to the Appropriations Committee for funding. And it will be another unfunded liability. They will not. The Appropriations Committee is what funds everything. And the Democrats know, everybody in Congress knows that all these freebies will never be funded by the Appropriations Committee. So they can lie and say whatever they want. They know it'll never happen. And so they can lie and pretend like, oh, we're doing all this for you. Oh no, that terrible Appropriations Committee refused to follow. I voted for it. But they know up front that that's not going to work. And the other thing I heard on Saturday over the weekend was that Nadler, Schiff, Schumer all voted against the Ukrainian aid package that they are claiming is the reason they need to impeach Trump, because that aid package was held up. And they voted against it. What hypocrisy. So I really appreciate what Ellie is saying. We can, if we talk and say the right things and don't overwhelm them with too much information, but use the whole point. Do you want socialism or not? I certainly don't. I don't want to look like Venezuela. Do you realize how quickly Venezuela went from being the richest country in South America, the fourth richest country in the world, to where they are now? Scrounging for food and so on. That's not what I want. And the Chinese want to take over America. Trump is doing it the right way in wanting to create treaties with the Chinese and fair trade between us. Everybody else was all about giving to the Chinese, send over all our jobs, give, give, give. And that's not fair. And it's breaking us. Yes, sir.
I would want to tell you that in order to get a hold of these Republicans, don't call the Washington, D.C. number. Call their home phones. I'm getting through to them, which is unusual. If you don't call Washington and call the state itself and talk to the people at their offices. We're getting through. I know my folks are. So, if you're going to call Susan Collins, call her not at Washington, but her state office.
And if you need to find those numbers, go to senate.gov and then look up legislators, and they will be in alphabetical order, and they will be in alphabetical by state order. So I don't have time right now to put those numbers up for you. I'm really sorry. But Mitch McConnell's home office numbers are down below. Keep calling his office. And so we should call, I would suggest Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, Susan Collins, Mike Lee, and Lamar Alexander. That's 5 people. And so those are the 5 that I would pick. Now, I don't know what Larry's going to do, and we're not going to use his name. Although you could use Larry's name if you read exactly what's in the description box below for Mitch McConnell. You can use his name's there. Only read what we have in quotation marks and hang up immediately. No discussion. Okay, we don't need to worry about the fact that we're not one of their constituents, because once they get to Congress, they represent the whole country with the way they vote. Unless they're doing something specifically for their constituents. Anything else, Ellie?
Just that I don't agree with their, I watch the polls a lot, and they're saying that a lot of the country is looking at impeachment. I've heard that this morning, and it's not. It's real low. Most of the country is not interested, and those that are watching are the ones that are undecided. It's a bigger undecided on the polls than it is for Democrat Republicans. So we've caught the attention of the undecided. And that's what's important. Like Larry Nichols has said, it's a soft vote we need to get to. It is the undecided we need to get to. And, if you could just talk to family and friends instead of arguing, put forward, what I've said, and it's working. I just got a message from a girl that her best friend and her hadn't spoke for 2 years, and they're talking again, and her friend wants to come to one of my shows. So we have got to find a new tactic, a new way, and it's the undecided and those soft votes. Don't let these people say, oh, we're going to win anyway, just like Larry said. Larry's very wise, and I've learned a lot from him. So
many
just talk to them. Start talking to your friends again and your family, and say, I want the same thing you want. I don't want the corruption in my government no longer. When we voted for President Trump, we voted for something different. We voted for a president that was not in politics. He's a businessman, and he is fixing our country. And I can only imagine what he could do when he gets acquitted. So
I agree with Sherry. This is a spiritual issue. So don't forget James 2, faith without works is dead. The faith part is the prayer part. We have got to pray. The works part is 2 Chronicles 7:14. Turn from your wicked ways, if you have any, to make sure your sins are confessed. Live righteously, live a godly life, and then get active. Vote. help with the election, help with the campaign. Please make sure you are prepared to give up a lot of time this summer to help the Republicans campaign. We have got to win. And don't forget the down ballot races. The prosecutors and the sheriffs are being funded by Soros because they think they've got this completely wrapped up. And the way you finish off a country for communism is to get hold of the sheriff, who's the most powerful person in any county, and the prosecutors. Because if something goes wrong, who will you call if the sheriffs and the prosecutors are communist? So they're, and as far as the election fraud stuff, there will come a time when we are going to hound the White House about that, because they were supposed to do something about these machines, but they're staying mum about it. And necessarily so. They don't want to be, laying their hand forward to us because of what the Democrats will then do to counteract it. Yes, Ellie, go ahead.
We also need to remember that there are elections in June, and some of the Congress and senators have their elections at that time. We really have to vote at all the elections, not just the November ones. We got to keep an eye on these sneaky people.
Yeah.
They're evil, and that's normally when they go unopposed. And if they're unopposed on a ticket, which means they're the only one on there, no one is going to go against them. The votes, all your votes go to them. Make sure you go and vote in June also. No matter if it's your judges or anything, we got to make sure we get people in our cities, our mayors and our attorney generals, and it's especially the judges. We have to start making sure we get the right people in. And June is one when they're really sneaky. They really are, or off years. A couple of the congressmen and a few senators, their time comes up in 2021. So their seats are going to be up. And I can't find out when their re-election is, but it won't be 2020. It's going to be 2021. So, keep your eyes out. You have to go vote every time there's an election. Okay. There you go, Mary Ellen.
Advice for California. Get involved in the campaigns. I would say.
Can I say something about California?
Would you please? She said, is there any special advice for them?
I've got my family that lives out there. All my family and friends are out there. I come from California. And from the way it looks right now in the polls, I watch them really close, and my family does. And it looks like the top, from the top of the state past San Francisco has gone red. It's gone Republican. Now, when they were gonna split the state into 2 or 3, the whole top half was. But for some reason, when the election came around in 2016, it went blue, which they did catch them in fraudulent votes. There was a whole bunch of dead people. My son, his birth certificate's out there, and he was a dead voter for a Democrat, and I corrected that out there, and it was for Sacramento. And then what we have found out is San Diego, most of San Diego, and there was spots of red all over Southern California. And it looks like it's about 50-50 now for the state, where it was almost 80% Democrats on the 2016 election. So it's looking really, really good. And if they can do the impeachment or the recall of Newsom, they got to make sure they sign these petitions because they're for real, and get him out. And if we can get Nancy Pelosi out and Feinstein and Schiff, all of them, their seats are up. And if we can replace them with some really good people, there's a lady going against Pelosi that right now 85% Republican are going for her. And this lady's doing good. So California looks really good at this point.
And there's one thing to remember. Usually we want to flip these people out of office. But this year alone, if you have an incumbent Republican, we would rather you vote for an incumbent Republican than switch to a Democrat, because so much is at stake. Because we can put some pressure on the Republicans, we can put no pressure on the Democrats. So this is the year that even now vote in the primary against any incumbent, but vote in November for the Republican, no matter whether they're incumbent or not. And yes, we know the illegal voting is atrocious. You know, the meme running around on Facebook every once in a while is
Mary Ellen, they found close to, it was a 3.8 million bad votes. And if you add that to the popular vote, Hillary did not win. She did not win. He blew her out of the water, because you take out all the votes that Tom Fenton from Judicial Watch found, he beat her. I mean, way over. You know, she did not win popular vote. And that's being brought up right now.
And Zachary has a point. If you get put in the nursing home, wherever it is he lives, they vote every one of the dementia patients as Democrat. And that happens in Maryland. The Democrats love going and helping the elderly in the nursing homes vote. They have to sign that they helped. But every one of those votes that I saw were, when I counted ballots in 2016, every one of those went Democrat. So, you know, there's voter fraud going on with those votes. So
Mary Ellen, you can, if you see those busfuls coming out, you can call your state election commissioner and turn them in. You can, and they will look at those votes. That's one thing I did find out through when I was looking into the Republican Party, the committee. I talked to the lady and I asked her about it, and she says, you better believe if you see a bus full of people, you get on your phones and you call. And she said, even better if you can get a picture of the bus with the license plate number. They will look into it. So this is good news. Tom Fenton, and not to mention Tom Fenton, even Sarah Huckabee was going state to state trying to fix them for voter fraud, for the paper ballots, as well as the computer systems for the Romney and Soros election machines that they made. So this is good news. It's getting better.
All right, the Senate's back in session. I want to hear what our guys are doing. Sekulow, Ken Starr, and I didn't catch the name of the last speaker, but they did a fabulous job presenting the case and calling out the lies and the illegal proceedings and the lack of integrity in the House. So I'd like to get back to hearing that. So folks, continue donating to Larry. He's sick. He is sleeping. He is probably sedated, I would imagine, just to keep him asleep, because he's such a hyperactive person that being able to stay down is probably extremely hard for him. So keep praying for him. Now, again, I have not checked with Mark, but on cost, I haven't checked with him on cost. I've been too busy this week. But the Never Socialism t-shirt, the V is for victory. The Never Socialism t-shirt, he said it'll cost a little more, but you can get it with long sleeve, which I'm planning to put an order in for. I just haven't had a chance to call him and do that. So I want to hear Sekulow speak again. So he's kind of introducing each speaker as the lead there. So thanks for being here, folks. Keep Larry in your prayers, please. And we will have prayer for him again tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. So with that, I will say thank you to Ellie and say thank you to you guys for being here. And let's keep making those phone calls. And God bless you. And We'll see how soon Larry gets back on his feet to be with us. Thanks a lot. Bye.